video brought to you by Brutus ASMR. So today we're doing a little soft-spoken video. We're going to actually be returning to the same book and reading chapter 2. Thank you to everyone that made the live stream yesterday. I'm really sorry, I didn't really realize that I need to be available during that time, and especially with the holidays. I was not able to make tonight's live stream, so watch this instead, and hopefully it will be good for next week. And look in the community tab for those updates. So, if you haven't seen my other bedtime reading video, this one is just a reading of a book that I like, a book that's fun to drift off and think about, and it's called Why is the Universe So Big? Thoughts on Human Potential and the Path to Heaven. It's a spiritual book and kind of is fun, and I've gotten permission from the author to read this on this channel. It's a cozy day today. I'm wearing my new sweater and it's raining, so get cozy and hopefully this will put you right to sleep. So we're on chapter 2, Revelation. Man is essential to any concept of the universe. Without man, the universe would be here, but it wouldn't be conceived. That's the miracle of man. That's a quote by Dr. Edward Hewitt from the movie The Sandpiper in 1965. I can't remember when the insights described in this book first came to me. They certainly evolved over time and are based on years of thinking and wondering. And it seems that my revelations have always been linked in some way to the universe. When I'm anxious, often late at night while trying to fall asleep, I have imagined myself on board a starship racing to some unknown destination deep in the universal expanse. I have never pictured myself landing on faraway planets and meeting alien beings. I simply found solace in the vastness, or maybe more accurately, the expansiveness of outer space. Maybe traveling to the stars just felt very far away from the drama of my life, or allowed me to escape the small world of my self-focus and fears. At some point, these nightly imaginations included thoughts on the size of the universe. Contemplating the heavens is not unusual. Humans have characterized the universe as mind-blowing ever since we first grasped its immensity. And over the last 100 years, we have learned a lot about its size. And I pondered the fact that the universe contains billions of galaxies as I began to see the universe as absurd. Its dimensions have no practical value. It's 1 billion times larger than required to understand its nature. And if it were 1 billion times smaller, we couldn't explore it in person. We still couldn't explore it in person. Even traveling to the nearest stars is currently well beyond our reach. What the devil has God created? Why is the universe so incredibly big? Some suggest that contemplating the heavens reminds us of how small we are, and that our problems are insignificant. This may work for overcoming minor setbacks like failing to get the coveted promotion at work or the bonus that was earmarked for buying a new car. But this is little comfort to those who are overwhelmed by tragedy, poverty, depression, or other heavy burdens. Those seeking comfort from these severe circumstances often reach out to something akin to a white-bearded grandfather god. This mythic personality, chronicled and worshipped by many, promises to relieve our burdens after we die as long as we believe and say the right words. This concept of salvation and our immortality has never made sense to me for as long as I can remember. Neither has the concept that we need faith to accept the ways of a God that we are incapable of understanding. God gave us a brain and we can think. If we couldn't think, or even know that we exist, we certainly wouldn't need God. Dramatic page turn. The concepts of God and heaven must be closely tied to our consciousness and our intelligence. It also suggests that our salvation must ultimately make sense. At some point during my seeking, I learned that there is a way for our destiny and the path to heaven to make sense if we toss aside the clutter. And it is strangely fitting that the path is revealed in the unique qualities of humankind. Although the universe is vast, with billions of galaxies and trillions of fiery suns, it does not hold a candle to the consciousness of a single human being. In fact, I believe that the birth and evolution of our consciousness is the reason the universe exists. And this is true, even if other intelligent life forms reside on a billion different planets. As I explored this idea, I found the following words expressed my conviction. The sun is powerful, but it cannot think. The stars are beautiful, but they do not celebrate life. And the universe is vast, but it cannot love. But we humans can love, and what I have come to see very clearly is that human consciousness is the miracle of the universe. Although we constantly seek all manners of inspiration and magic and spirituality, all we really need, we already have. The universe may be marvelous, but its grandeur is an empty promise without us. Without human consciousness, there is no proclaiming that the universe is vast or incomprehensible, because these words would not even exist. We are the witness and the intelligence that gives the universe its meaning. And at least, with respect to human beings living on planet Earth, the universe has been waiting a very long time for us to arrive. Despite living this miracle every day of our lives, we take our consciousness for granted. Maybe it's because we have always had it, or because we don't understand its power. If our consciousness trumps the size and grandeur of the universe, what does this say about our potential as human beings? Is it that our potential is very large, maybe far more magnificent than we have imagined? Is the universe telling us we should be thinking and acting expansively, instead of being tied to the smallness of our egos and our self-centered view of existence? Others throughout history and in modern times have proposed that our destiny lies far beyond our current thinking and behavior. They have tried to tell us, despite considerable risks, that we are designed to be divine. For the most part, we have been unstable or unwilling to listen. Even with our own physical prowess and our substantial mental powers, as individuals, we could not be the best at driving, reading, throwing a football, running fast, or perfectly replicating an assembly line activity. The way Roger Federer hits a tennis ball may seem divine, but not all of us can be Roger Federer. And maybe God isn't too concerned about our ability to excel at tennis, but all of us are uniquely qualified to exhibit God's love in every moment that we live. My personal revelation is that I have no doubts that human consciousness is divine. Consciousness gives us the ability to contemplate and choose, and ultimately to be perfect in the one area where we are different from all other living things. Dramatic page turn. And the rest of creation. It allows us to reflect on our own existence, to love and to forgive. And this is the grand leap, the leap that many of us refuse to accept. That we can be perfect with respect to loving in the way of Jesus Nazareth loved. This is the message of the universe, of Jesus and many others through human history who have endeavored to show us the way. There are no caveats, no exceptions, and no doctrines that provide convenient excuses. The answer is no more complicated than to love, and since loving is a single idea, just maybe this is what Jesus meant when he told us we must follow the narrow path. I feel pretty safe claiming that we don't yet believe in our divine gift or capabilities in the power of love and forgiveness, and understanding who we are is important. For example, the key to being a professional athlete is being able to rise through the ranks. A crucial success factor in this journey is whether the person believes they belong at the next level, whether this is reaching the major leagues in baseball, the PGA Tour in golf, or believing that they can beat Roger Federer in an AMTP Tour tennis match. I don't want to trivialize our spiritual growth with a sports metaphor, but in many ways, we are who we believe ourselves to be. Likewise, it is very difficult to be divine unless we accept that we are divine. The idea of who we think we are is where my spiritual awakening began. For some unfathomable reason, I woke up one morning and asked myself how it would change a person's thinking and behavior if they believed they were God. I have no idea why this popped into my head, but my reference point for this notion was obviously Jesus of Nazareth. If Jesus was fully human, there came a day when he realized that he was in complete union with God. What an extraordinary conclusion. How would you cope with this mind-altering revelation? If you completely accepted this incredible notion, one thing is for sure. Negative or unloving behavior would become incongruous with your very being. I mentioned this to a dear friend and he gave me some reading materials that taught me things that somehow I already knew. Maybe what Jesus was exhorting us to do when he asked us to believe was to not so much believe in God, but to accept that we were created to be our own perfect union with the divine, capable of constantly expressing divine love. It's a testimony to our lack of awareness and appreciation for our destiny that we often marginalize people who admonish us to love and forgive. We manufacture a convenient excuse by branding them as unworthy. During the Vietnam War, John Lennon asked us to give peace a chance and suggest that all you need is love. But many, especially the older generation, felt that Lennon was immoral and a radical. I'm sure that many of them decided that John Lennon's love was not God's love. John Lennon's songs are well loved by many today, but does this love for his songs translate to any commitment, into a commitment to make love the central tenet of our lives? And will we forever discount these ideas because John Lennon did not live a perfect life? Jesus also did not fit in with society in which he lived. He extended his hand to the tax collectors and the dramatic page turn. He extended his hand to the tax collectors and prostitutes. And wasn't he crucified because he was a threat to the Pharisees, preaching that God is in every man and woman? There's no denying that Jesus was radical. I'm not equating Mr. Lennon with Jesus, but I'm trying to illustrate that judgment is a major impediment to our progress. John Lennon was radical, but maybe we need to accept that the love Jesus was advocating would still be viewed as radical today, even by most Christians. So, the essential question is, what do we do once we intellectually accept our divine destiny? How do we rise above fear, judgment, what others want us to believe, and the societal norms we experience every day? How do we actually reach our divine potential? This journey begins in a way that many people might find strange or even irrelevant. It begins with fully appreciating the smallness and crushing power of our egos, and how the ego keeps us from understanding who we are and where we should be headed. And the ego deserves a great deal of attention because it just may be the most destructive force in the universe, even more destructing than an exploding star or a black hole. So that was chapter 2 of Why is the Universe So Big? If you guys want to pick up the rest of this book, I'll put the link in the description. I believe it's available on Amazon if you have Amazon Books or Kindle. So hopefully after that you're relaxed, might be thinking about some things, but I think the takeaways from that chapter are that accepting that we can be divine, that our consciousness is the miracle of the universe, and believing that we can be one with God, or one with the divine, or one with the universe. I don't think, as we get more into this book, I think we'll realize too that it's not really about religion. It's not about Jesus or Muhammad. And if it's about that for you, 100% follow that. But I think the more we realize the basic compassion and love that we can show every human as if they were our brother, sister, mother, or family member, that we're all connected, and exhibit that behavior and that grace and forgiveness to everyone we know, the world might be a little bit of a better place. I hope that you enjoy this soft-spoken reading. If you like other soft-spoken videos, those are indicated in the parentheses on my other videos in my channel. And the support you guys have been showing me has been really incredible, and I have fun making these videos. So again, I apologize about the live stream the other day, and we'll be back on track next week, hopefully. Enjoy this video. Happy Thanksgiving if you're in the United States, and I hope that your holidays are filled with family and love, and if they're not, that you love yourself. Alright, that's all.